There's been a long-running debate online about what kind of holiday The Nightmare Before Christmas is actually about. Is it Halloween or Christmas? The filmmakers didn't clear things up. In fact, they made it even more confusing. Director Henry Selick insists it's a Halloween story, but composer Danny Elfman disagrees. He sees it as a Christmas film. In the end, it doesn't really matter who's right, because this animated musical is something you can watch and enjoy all year round. In this video, I'll take you behind the scenes of how the cult Halloween-Christmas hybrid The Nightmare Before Christmas was made.
Tim Burton first started working on the idea of Jack Skellington back in the early 1980s, shortly after completing his black-and-white short film, Vincent. The original inspiration came from a poem he wrote, which was heavily influenced by his love for author and animator Dr. Seuss, as well as classic holiday specials like How the Grinch Stole Christmas and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Burton also drew inspiration from the famous 1823 poem A Visit from St. Nicholas by Clement Clarke Moore. While writing the first version of the poem, he imagined horror film icon Vincent Price narrating it. Burton created storyboards and character sketches and pitched them to various studios. Many seemed interested, but none greenlit the project. He was willing to make it in almost any format, even as a short film, but at the time, no deal was made. For nearly a decade, Burton kept returning to the idea. In 1990, after the success of Edward Scissorhands and Batman, Disney agreed to fund the project. Since Burton was busy with Batman Returns, he had to hand over directing duties. He chose Henry Selick, an expert in stop-motion animation, whom he had known since the 1970s and had already shown early Nightmare sketches to years earlier.
Burton faced the challenge of turning a short poem into a full-length feature. At first, he brought on Michael McDowell, who had written Beetlejuice, but it didn't work out. So Burton took a different approach. He started with the music. He brought in Danny Elfman, and together they outlined the story and composed most of the songs. Interestingly, they approached the project more like an operetta than a traditional musical, where songs are tightly woven into the narrative. When Selick and his team began production, there was still no finished script. That only came later, when Caroline Thompson, who had worked on Edward Scissorhands, joined the team. In the beginning, Selick only had 3 of Elfman's songs to work with. With a limited budget and a tight schedule, delaying production wasn't an option. The film had to be completed on time.
Although Selick directed the movie, The Nightmare Before Christmas is visually steeped in Burton's signature style. Halloween Town, in particular, was heavily influenced by German Expressionism, a movement Burton admired, known for rejecting realism in favor of emotional, abstract visuals. Hallmarks of this style include asymmetrical compositions and stark contrasts of light and shadow. The architecture in Halloween Town is jagged and distorted, reflecting Burton's own sense of alienation and society's fear of the strange and unusual. Selick even asked artists to draw with their non-dominant hands to create more unconventional perspectives. Interestingly, the characters themselves are perfectly at ease in this world of horror. They don't see it as scary. So the design isn't meant to seem grotesque, but different. The color palette, shades of gray, black, and muted orange, enhances the eerie atmosphere. Jack Skellington's spooky kingdom is contrasted with Christmas Town, which was inspired by Dr. Seuss illustrations. It's colorful, warm, and packed with holiday imagery. Selick wanted to present it as an entirely different world, and succeeded. Importantly, both towns are portrayed as equally valid. Every holiday has its place and purpose. Burton has said that eyes are vital to a character's expressiveness in animation, but in Nightmare, many puppets, Jack included, have no visible eyes. Jack's face is dominated by 2 deep black sockets. Disney executives were unhappy with this, but Burton and Selick stood their ground. And they were right. Jack's skull-like face also shows Burton's love for Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, where decorated skulls are a key symbol. In Burton's original sketches, Jack wore an all-black suit. Selick added thin white stripes during camera tests to prevent Jack from blending into the dark backgrounds of Halloween Town. The film was mostly created using stop-motion animation, which was considered old-fashioned at the time. While some other techniques were used, the heart of the production was handcrafted. Every prop, character, and detail made by artists. Production took place at a custom-built studio, Skellington Productions in San Francisco. Tim Burton visited a few times, but mainly stayed in touch from afar. Selick oversaw the day-to-day work. The team had 19 sound stages and over 230 mini-sets. To make animating easier, trap doors were installed beneath the sets so puppeteers could move the characters from below. There were about 60 characters in the film, and each one had multiple puppet versions. The puppets were sculpted in clay, molded, cast in plastic, then painted, dressed, and detailed by hand. Jack had around 400 different heads to represent all his facial expressions. Each one was photographed and cataloged for use in specific phonemes and emotions. Sally had a set of removable face masks to show different expressions. Her long hair made head replacements too complicated. Jack's ghost dog, Zero, has a flexible, flowing body and ears that constantly ripple. He was made using lead sheets for flexibility, covered with fabric. Scenes with Zero used an old illusion trick called Pepper's Ghost, which requires glass panels and special lighting.
Creating a stop-motion feature is painstaking work. Every second of the film required 24 individual frames. It took a full week of work to produce just 1 minute of animation. In total, production took nearly 3 years. At its peak, more than 120 people were working on bringing Burton's poem to life. One of the most complex shots was Jack's reflection in a shiny doorknob. It took careful planning to get all the reflections just right. To distinguish The Nightmare Before Christmas from Disney's more traditional animated content, the film was released under the Touchstone Pictures label. To help with marketing, the studio also added Tim Burton's name to the title, which is why many people still mistakenly think he directed it. The film had a modest $18 million budget. By 2020, it had grossed nearly 4 times that amount, thanks in part to multiple theatrical re-releases. Over the years, it built a massive fan base and achieved cult status. Even now, it remains as popular and relevant as ever.
In February 2019, rumors surfaced that Disney was considering either a live-action remake or a sequel. Burton likely wasn't thrilled. He said many times he's against continuing the story. Let's hope those rumors stay rumors, and that The Nightmare Before Christmas remains untouched. And that's all for now. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and share it so more people can see it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.